Hello and welcome to the What If League. Today we're doing part 2 of the experiment where Alexis Sánchez is sold to Manchester United by Arsenal and the Gunners get Henrikh Mkhitaryan in return from the Red Devils. Additionally to that, they also buy Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang from Borussia Dortmund. In the first part of this experiment, we saw what happened in the first 3.5 seasons until year 2021. And now in the second part, we're going to follow what is the impact of the transfers until 2nd of June 2024. If you want to see what happened in part 1, make sure that you check my channel. I will also leave a link in the description of this video. But now we're going to see what was the impact in the Premier League. Last time we left off, Arsenal were champions in season 2021. You can see on the screen, and let's see what happened in the very next season. Manchester United grabbed the title in that season, 12 points adrift second placed Arsenal. So this is quite interesting turn of events here. Then in the next season, Manchester United defended their title with another win, this time 7 points ahead of second place Chelsea, Arsenal dropping to the third place. And in the final year of this experiment, Manchester United were victorious again, only 1 point above their neighbours Manchester City. Arsenal were third place this year, with Chelsea completing the top 4. Now let's also have a quick look at the Manchester United tactics screen and see what is the current state here. I can see a lot of new names. Actually, to be honest, there are only 3 Manchester United players in the starting team that were part of Manchester United in reality. And Alexis Sánchez is still an active player, although he's 35 years old and he has been qualified to play as a midfielder at this point. So let's see also his career stats. We started the experiment here where he has very high average ratings. If you remember, we also focused on that in part 1. But as you can see, with time, his influence on games is diminishing. And in the very last season, he played only a handful of games with a very low average rating, which I guess is also contributed to some injuries along the way. Similarly, let's also have a look at Arsenal and their tactics screen. At first glance here, I can see Welbeck, Iwobi, Kolasinac, Mustafi is there, but all the other players are pretty much new to me. Let's see in the reserves, I also don't see neither Mkhitaryan nor Aubameyang, so let's have a look at their squad, what is happening here. If I scroll down, I don't see Aubameyang anywhere, so he has probably either been sold or has retired. Let's first check Mkhitaryan, what is his deal. He's also 35 years old, still an active player, and let's check his career stats. In the first 3.5 seasons, he had high average rating, although not as high as Alexis Sánchez. But you can see that in the next 3 seasons, he has kept this high average rating above 7, while Sanchez had a drop in the last season, probably due to injuries or being completely displaced from the first team. And before we continue to check how did the teams perform in Europe, let's see how did Aubameyang perform. Yes, he has already retired as an active player. Now he's a general manager. Going to his career stats, we can see that in the first 3 seasons his impact was pretty high, but then he continued to score a lot of goals in the fourth season, and in the fifth 12 goals each. But overall his average rating was going down, and probably his physical stats were diminishing, so that's why he retired. I will quickly just have a look at the milestones section for Aubameyang, and then we'll go back to Mkhitaryan and Sanchez before we continue to the European competitions. We can see here that he was African Striker of the Year in 2022, which means that he really had a good year. The same award for 2020 as well as 2021. So he was really performing very well for Arsenal until he retired. Similarly, if we look at Mkhitaryan, we can see that he did not win any individual awards, although he was named in the Arsenal seasonal best 11, which means that at least his own team quite appreciated his efforts and skills a lot. And the last check before we continue to European competitions is Alexis Sánchez. You can see he was voted Supporters Player of the Year in year 2022. Before that, he was third placed in the Ballon d'Or award in year 2020, but we'll get to that in a second, just after the European competitions. As per tradition, we're starting with the Europa League, and the last season in part 1 was where Tottenham won against Red Bull Leipzig in the final. In the next year, Liverpool were crowned champions of the second most influential European competition. They defeated Chelsea in the final 2-0. They managed to qualify for that game by defeating the Italian Milan 3-2 in the semis, Borussia Mönchengladbach in the quarterfinals, and the Ukrainian Shakhtar Donetsk 5-1 on aggregate in the second knockout round. Moving to the next season, Tottenham were champions of Europa League again, this time defeating their city neighbors and one of our focus teams in this experiment, Arsenal. They won on penalties after 2-2 in the regular time. The North London derby was played in a very, very high stage at the Europa League final. Tottenham qualified for that match after defeating Napoli 5-0 on aggregate in the semi-finals, Lazio 3-1, and Fiorentina 6-2 on aggregate in the second knockout round. So the Spurs had to eliminate three Italian teams on their way to the final. On the other side, we can see that Arsenal defeated Chelsea. Bournemouth qualified for the Europa League quarterfinals. That's very impressive of them. Good on Eddie Howe. I'm hoping that he's still their manager. We're not quite sure there. And they also defeated the French Guingamp 5-0 in the second knockout round. In the very last season of this experiment, Liverpool bowed out to the new champions of the Europa League, Borussia Dortmund, after the German team won 2-0 in the final, which was played in Hampden Park. Borussia Dortmund qualified for that match after defeating Villarreal, Standard Liège, and the Portuguese Benfica. Now moving one level up to the Champions League. The last time we left off on in part one of this experiment, Bayern Munich were champions against Paris Saint-Germain after extra time. Let's see what happened in the next season. Manchester United won the highest competition in European football against Monaco on penalties after a goalless draw in the regular time. They managed to get to that final after defeating Arsenal in the semi-final, so this was probably a very, very interesting match to see where I would guess all of our transferred players took part. United also defeated their old nemesis Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals and PSG in the first knockout round, again on penalties. So this was a very, very lucky season for the Red Devils. In the next year, champions of Europe were Monaco, who, after they lost the previous final, managed to get the title in the end, defeating their compatriots of Paris Saint-Germain. In that final, with a win 2-0, Monaco qualified after defeating Atletico Madrid. Manchester United, they managed to get revenge over the Red Devils, and in the first knockout round, they eliminated Benfica. And in the final season of the Champions League for this experiment, Chelsea were the champions. They defeated Monaco 2-0 in the final. Chelsea managed to qualify after defeating another French team, PSG, in the semi-finals, the Italian Juventus on aggregate 4-2 in the quarters, and another Italian team, AC Milan, with a 4-0 very, very nice win in the first knockout round. Just to have a quick look at the domestic cups, you can see that in the past winners section, we can see United were very dominant in this tournament. They had 4 titles in the last 6 seasons, and Arsenal did not manage to win even one of those. Let's also have a quick look at the League Cup and what happened there. So defending champions, we can already see it's Manchester City. But here we see that Arsenal managed to get one trophy, and that was the previous season in year 22-23. Manchester United 2 titles before them. Southampton managed to get one, which is very nice for them. Finally, let's have a look at the Ballon d'Or awards and see who won those. Lionel Messi totally dominant in that category. He won 4 titles in a row, and afterwards he was succeeded by the French Thomas Lemar, who is still playing for Monaco and apparently has developed to be quite a wonderful player. Let's also have a look at Eden Hazard, Cristiano Ronaldo, Luis Suarez, so no real surprises except in year 2020 Alexis Sánchez managed to get to 3rd place, and I think that was the exact year when Manchester United were crowned champions in the Champions League as well. No, actually, to be honest, that's not true. We saw previously that Manchester United were champions, I think, in year 2022, but just to confirm that, I am going to go and check it before we complete this experiment. So bear with me. We can see, yes, year 22, Manchester United were champions. So this was not Alexis Sanchez's best season. Nevertheless, apparently it was Manchester United's best season. And with that, I think we can conclude this experiment as completed successfully. We saw the impact of all three transfers, and in my opinion, the most influential was Alexis Sanchez. He also got the most trophies and awards during his time at Old Trafford. Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan played well for Arsenal, but did not manage to get the same recognition and awards for themselves. Let me know what do you guys think about this. Make sure that you subscribe or follow my channel so that you see notifications for when I upload new videos. If you want me to make a certain experiment, please let me know in the comments. And I think that's it. Thank you for watching and bye.